J.F. Garrard. JF is an award-winning speculative fiction writer, editor, and publisher. She is the president of Dark Helix Press, co-president for the Canadian Authors Association Toronto branch, and deputy editor for Rice Paper magazine. You'll find her portfolio of books and short fiction on her website, which I'll be posting in the chat box in just a moment, and also follow her on Twitter. Thanks so much for joining us today, JF.
Thank you. I'd like to apologize for my voice. I'm pretty sure I have COVID at this point since everyone else has COVID in my household, but I keep testing negative. Anyhow, I'd like to thank the organizers for organizing this event. It's really great to have an event to promote female authors. I'd also like to dedicate this reading to my grandmother who passed away Valentine's Day this year. So The Undead Sorceress was inspired by her. A few years ago, she had a stroke. Oh gosh, maybe it's 20 years ago now, not a few years ago. She had a stroke and I told her, I pray to the gods that, to take away years of my life to give to you. And she just looked at me and she's like, wow, you're pretty stupid to want to give away years of your life to someone else. And that sparked the idea. What if it could happen? What if my grandmother could take away years of my life? So in this story, Tamara is a boring hospital administrator. And one day her grandmother asked her that, I'm very sick. I'm going to die. Could you give me your soul? And Tamara actually says yes. But because she's a vampire, she can't. So her grandmother ends up taking her daughter's life. And the whole book is like a hero's journey of Tamara chasing down her grandmother, pretty much. The scene I'm going to read is what happens after Tamara discovers she's accidentally turned into a vampire and what to expect. So she's talking to Gia, who's her cousin, her, I guess, master, the person that turns you into a vampire. So this is the scene that takes place. The book's set in modern times. And it's an urban fantasy, okay? Tamara says, what happened to me? Am I going to live forever? Will I have to suck blood from my family? Will vampire hunters be coming after me? Gia gave her a pack of tissues and waited patiently until the rants died down. Tamara, vampires do not drink blood other than at their initiation ritual. I needed to give you my blood in order to tie our bonds and to activate our mind chips, as I am your master and will be responsible for you. Mind chips? What is that? In the last decade, an invention called the mind chip was surgically implanted into vampires and their masters. One was put into you before we buried you. We use it to communicate to each other via psychic signals, like a walkie-talkie. So if you're too far away, it might not work, and we have to give permission to accept each other's calls. I've never tried this. Since you're the first vampire I've ever successfully turned, we can try it later tonight. Gia sat on her bed in pajamas, brushing her long hair. So am I really dead? What will I eat? Tamara asked. Yes and no, Gia answered. You're an undead, but because you are alive, you are not really dead. We still have physiological systems that work similar to humans, but we cannot generate chi. Do you know what that is? Well, chi is a life force generated by living things, I think. Tamara was thankful for Gia's soothing effect on her when she realized she had calmed enough not to stutter. So the difference between vampires and humans is that we can't generate our own chi energy. We have to take it from living things in order to stay alive. We have other abilities, such as being able to heal our flesh wounds and being able to move very quickly. Gia demonstrated by running around the room so fast that she was a blur. And suddenly, she was back in her seat again, patiently continuing with her explanations. Since the house was established, one of the first laws passed was that we are all to convert to feeding the same way as Eastern vampires. All living creatures on this earth have chi or energy, which gives them life. Traditionally, many vampires used to feed on blood to gain chi. However, Eastern vampires just fed off chi directly, with no need to kill or gather blood. As long as there is an energy source, vampires can feed off of that and survive. Tamara frowned. I guess I can't eat chocolate anymore. Gia laughed. Actually, you can still eat food if you want. Cooked foods just don't have much chi energy. You need to remember to wash down any food with lots of water or liquids to clear out the ashes out of your system. Our bodies process things a bit differently than humans. She grabbed her right hand and positioned their hands palm to palm. Tamara, close your eyes and feel the warmth coming from my hand. Tamara gasped when she felt the heat from Gia's hand, complete with an instinct to try to capture the warmth somehow, and she felt fangs emerge from her mouth. Did you feel like you wanted the warmth but didn't know how to take it? Gia asked. Tamara nodded bashfully. You will start feeling the chi from every living creature whenever you feel hungry. Tonight, I'll teach you the basics so you won't starve or want to bite people. But be careful. Taking a little bit of chi energy from a person, animal, or plant is fine, but when you start taking too much, they will wilt and die. This used to occur quite frequently in the past when more vampires could use magic and needed more chi to cast spells. Magic? That's not real. Well, many humans and vampires used to have magic, Gia explained. So many wars were started because of this. During the Great War of Fire in the 1800s, which was in Antarctica, vampires and magic users that were sorcerers and warlocks joined forces together to battle an evil being called Mammon and his yokai. To stop Mammon, the property of water was changed, which trapped him and his yokai monsters in the South and North Poles. His head is in the north and body in the south. However, this subdued all magic on Earth after the contaminants escaped into the ocean, and only those with the strongest magic abilities kept their talents. We believe it has to do with genetic structure and have been researching this matter by following descendants of those who used magic to fight in the war. Your family is one we've been watching for a long time. My ancestors were sorcerers and warlocks? Are they still alive? Are they vampires? Gia frowned. Your family is a line of magic users, but I don't think any of them became vampires. It's rare nowadays that a sorceress, warlock, or even a human can be turned into a vampire. Something changed after the water was altered. But why some humans can become vampires, no one really knows. I do hope you have some magic. It could be useful in the future in case there are any battles. Tamara suddenly felt very tired. This was all surreal, and she wasn't sure if she was happy or sad that she was alive. She was startled out of her thoughts when Gia opened a small box and started prepping a needle full of clear liquid. What is that? You have to be vaccinated. All that stuff about vampires burning up in the sun and being allergic to garlic, well, we have a vaccine for that now. This will allow you to function in daylight and not be burned by silver, etc. Can you pass me that instruction sheet? It's my first time doing it. Opening the piece of paper, Tamara noted that it was just an injection into the thigh. Gia, it's okay, I can do it myself. I used to work as a nurse in the hospital, so I've given lots of injections. Oh, great, here you go. Gia gladly handled over the needle. And I think I'll stop here. I'm not sure if I can go on without coughing, but thank you very much for taking the time to attend this event, and thank you once again to the organizer.